Excuse me. Uh, it's beginning to smell a lot like pine cones that smell like the candy hot tamales. But yeah, thank you for joining me, self. It's time for another episode of Game Therapeutic Rants with Joe Bomb Squad, and we're gonna see if we can make it to a cool old coolio thingy-o thing, and see if there's any motorcycles around here.
I gotta get my eyes checked.
I gotta get back in the car so I can. There we go. I don't care about the radio. Let's see here, but I guess what people can take back from oh man, let's try to see if we can come up with a topic. It's something. Oh, there's making dams in Egypt, or not Egypt, in an area of. And then there's prison riots in Brazil. They're faking a thing because there was a lady president. Not exactly faking, but I mean, like, set him up to let him fall, sort of thing, you know.
Out you get, buddy.
That was good times, you know. But understanding that let's see, I mean, that's just what I get from sometimes just random news stories that pop in and say, oh, this is the thing that's happening on this side of the thing, and I'm just like, wow, that looks kind of like a little bit of a fluff story. You know, I'm not exactly saying that, but I'm saying that it's like, it kind of looks like it. It kind of looks like Brazil is kind of trying to undermine women in politics and, worldwide, but understandably so. I mean, women are marginalized terribly in politics, pretty much anyways. So yeah, there's that, you know. And also too, there's the same sense, like, it's like, oh, it's like all this stuff happened, and then that one dude touched the dude. So you're not going to talk about that, and you're going to be humble, right? No, I'm going to talk about that as well. Like, well, that's not fair because you talk about other stuff and one thing, and then it's like, no, all that stuff happened at the same time. That's what women are saying, and then men are like, nah, you're good. It's like, we only talk about one thing in politics, though. It's like, no. It's starting to change too. It's like they're saying, like, potential, political corruptness, and it's like, I'm not saying that's like they could have like marginalized that too. Oh, landed it on the rim, nice. That's what I did. Just landed it, messed up my tires, and I'm gonna run into this guy. All right. See if he wants to. You son of a bitch. Oh wait, let me get it in this one.
Oh no! Move, buddy!
But yeah, people are marginalized as a whole, I guess, as far as politics goes, and we want to keep other people out, so they recognize certain people or certain what they would call minorities, or what they would call majorities, or any kind of minorities, so that's whatever you want to call the Census
Lucky
Bureau.
miss.
But understandably so, there is only a Census Bureau in the United States of America.
Officers report
I
a
mean,
criminal
it's
resisting
a whole bunch of different
arrest
stuff
on
that people don't understand.
Del Perro Freeway.
So there's that. But I mean,
Roger.
I don't like. But I mean, there's plenty of stupid news stories we can cover right now. See, wait,
Suspect westbound in
okay.
a
What a damned
red sports car.
Egyptian river would do to cities upstream, or who cares? Because I don't know. Because I mean, about tearing it down with terrorist attacks, you know, ISIL and all that other different stuff. Sucks, man. The reason why I don't get my whole sometimes. Like, it's like, oh wait, the Earth might be acting right. Wait, nope. It's fucked up again. Whatever, right? Okay. Oh
Units
man,
reporting
it's
a reckless
like
driver
that whole thing with
Great Ocean Highway.
it's like oh, eventually, I mean, either you see yourself, you die a hero, or you slowly slip into becoming a villain. Isn't that right,
Suspect 90
Peter?
miles per hour in a red coil voltage.
No, it's I don't really give a shit about certain organizations sometimes, because sometimes their motives can be a little bit more hasty, to be like, oh, we are thinking about this in the middle of animals being having cruelty to, and their environments being infringed upon. But understandably so, you should do this anyways. It's like, no, we have to introduce them to be able to be nice to humans, and then introduce them back into what they actually need. So when they come back, they don't fucking attack us. They hug us like that one lion was. I mean, granted, it was probably a different lion. But they had trained. Who knows? You know, could have been any kind of lion, because they didn't really track him, you know, that well, probably. I don't know. There's plenty of things to say that are like I don't know. Oh yeah, okay. To see the news stories are sometimes hearsay, or and not fake news. I'm not talking about fake news. I'm talking about actual news stories. Like, people are like, "Whoa, what was that? Was that me hitting a curb or something?" All right.
Suspect last seen
I'm
on
gonna go get the jet, I think.
Fort
We're gonna see if
Zancudo
they
Approach Road
won't
in
stop
Fort
me from getting
Zancudo.
the jet. But understanding where you get your news from, I guess, I'm not like picking apart Al Jazeera in any way. I'm just saying that in some ways things can be hearsay. Like, you can see sometimes that, oh, it's like it actually happened, but it didn't happen within a majority of something. So somebody could have actually just set up a robot to actually threaten people and say that, oh, there might be an airstrike, and then some people might elaborate on that thing, so you don't know exactly where the facts actually came from. But I mean, in the same sense, that's the reason why sometimes people don't believe sometimes what they say, I guess, or believe what people say inside of a marginalized country, or outside of a marginalized country, or even what a marginalized country might say could be taken as fact or fiction, I guess, in some cases. And I'm flipping, and yeah, I made it. Amazing. All right, no, the jet's not there, so we're just gonna go out. Understanding though that even our own media can be marginalized sometimes, and in the same sense, taking sound bites from people who actually don't actually believe in that same thing, or don't actually, son of a bitch, don't actually believe in that same news story or that same thing. It's just like that they don't have that same opinion. They're just making fun of whatever everyone else is making fun of, and then it would seem as though other people are being insensitive to such. Like, there's like, it's like news stories always get the thing. It's like the thing you want to watch, the thing you want to keep your eyes on for that amount of time. It's just like that was worth more money to ad companies than it's worth to anyone else. So that's the reason why sometimes I guess some people are actually marginalized as far as whatever facts go, or whatever non-facts go. But in the same sense, what does that say about our news stories sometimes? What does it say about the people that we? I mean, and like in the same sense, it's like oh, those people were protesting. All those people were protesting. But it's not like they made up the protesters, you know. It's not like they paid those people to protest. They might have paid them to move their protest to a certain area so that they could get into a shot. But I mean, those people were still doing protests. It's like in the same sense, there's people who do protests all the time, and those governments don't support the protests. They don't support anything about their government, and it's like you can say that in that same sense, it's government corruption, I guess. But in the same sense too, it's like there's so many like political coups sometimes that it's like you don't want to let people know sometimes, but it's like there are so many sometimes, and it's including and in such a great country, or even a monetarily based country.
Excuse me, my car.
People get a lot of money. Don't exactly know what the hell to do with it. Some things like that. And I'm gonna run over the speed with a moped. All right. I mean, when you get into stuff like that, you start to realize that news stories can be marginalized a lot. And whenever things get out of hand, or whenever news stories actually get out of hand, is when sometimes people act their calmest, I guess. And don't realize that they're not getting the news that they actually need sometimes from so many different other places. And I guess that what the people have done with Trump and news is literally mute the shit out of what people have actually seen as far as it's like mute. They've been basically with Trump. I guess people hating on Trump and hating on everything, like. People have used, even the way that they used Obama, I guess, in some ways, was to be able to mute sometimes the goings-on on other international coups and different things that were actually happening. And sometimes that's the point, is the American government sometimes doesn't get involved in conflicts because of the fact that we would not be able to keep a stable economy here. I mean, it's saying that is like wow, like really? I mean, obviously we're not the best people in the world, you know, but we're not the worst either.
Oh shit!
But in the same sense, we can't constantly push towards other countries and expect to be able to live the same kind of lifestyle that we actually have. It's like I just paid $16 more a month on my Medicaid bill because I voted up Trump. But I mean, I can't say that it's actually like a huge deal, you know. It's like I paid like maybe $5 or $6 more per prescription, but I mean I know actually I pay less sometimes too. I pay like $5 or $6 per two prescriptions like that. But yeah
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But even saying that, it's like that stuff wouldn't be able to happen sometimes. There would be no like actual way to get it. You'd have to go you have to ferry to a place in order from where you live, not a mile away, to where like you'd have to ferry to a place to get your prescriptions, and then ferry to another place to get to the doctor that would actually give you your prescriptions instead of it being a mile away. And I can't say that I'm actually like astounded sometimes that there are people out there that just they don't get it. They don't get that people sometimes live in a certain way, and it sucks like so much And people wonder why everyone's thin around the world sometimes. And it's like, oh, we live in excess, or we live in monetarily stable places, I guess. And that's the reason why sometimes we're able to do the things we do. It's like understanding that there are, I should have really gotten that car. Understanding that stuff in the nose. Understanding that the big changes sometimes that might be actually seen through even just one neutrality. And also in the same sense, we sometimes control what is another.
Officers report a criminal resisting arrest on Great Ocean Highway in
We in some ways
Pacific
control
Bluff.
what is, I guess, the world's information sometimes. And the way that we vote on stuff can sway, I guess, international things because of the amount of business that we actually put towards international waters and international coastlines and international other businesses. Like, I wanted to get that motorcycle. That's my business. I don't care about starting this mission right now. I'm probably gonna start the mission, but I don't feel like it. So I really don't feel like starting the mission. I feel like talking about this, and I really feel like talking about other stuff like that. I really want to be able to I really want to be able to see, I guess, what people would understand as alright, this one has too much drag. This one is amazing and gets plenty of traction all the time. But understanding also that those news stories kind of news stories that kind of switch, I guess, on some stories, or seeing different stories, different people in certain areas, it changes their worldview about stuff, and what people would actually say and confirm, I guess, sometimes is that we get news sometimes way more often than other countries. And that's the reason why sometimes people actually do have a neutral, I guess, standpoint whenever it comes to news, or a neutral standpoint whenever it comes to being able to say the news. And I guess in the same sense, I think everybody needs to realize that, like, that there are some blows happening, or some hits happening that are gonna probably hit economies worldwide, and it's gonna change the way that people see the way that news is, and it's gonna change the way that people understand where. I mean, oh, you want stupid. Yay, $10.
I got some smoke in the
I need this car more than I need that motorcycle. Alright. I basically understand a certain number of people get their news from a certain number of places, and I guess sometimes it's gonna change a lot the way that people are and how people are, and I don't know. I guess the way that governments see things sometimes in other countries can be in excess, and it saddens me sometimes that people would actually see getting a not like a hefty news source, but constant stimulation from your brain, it to be in excess, and I guess push people's And also, your laws in southern Europe may be different from mine, expert thief. And this is kind of, it's probably extremely different from mine, as far as things go. There might be a younger audience to video games worldwide than there is in American soil. People need to understand that's probably the reasons, not the reasons why, but there is a reason why that there is such a young recruitment rate on gang violence across the world, or even federally in violence across the world sometimes, or even federal, or or milita, I guess. There is I don't know. There's the ESRB kind of didn't really stop much, but it stopped. It stopped. I guess this generation, this coming up generation, from doing a lot of illegal things. I guess, and I guess that's the reason why sometimes people don't see where they fit in as society. I guess, and in that same sense. In that same sense, people are, yes, I am going to dodge a tank and a station wagon. And I guess that's probably the reason why, sometimes YouTube audiences might be that big. Or even the reasons why people protest sometimes. Certain things are inspired by certain people saying something, and that kind of changes emotions, I guess. Changes my emotions, I guess. I guess to a certain degree of
Dispatch, suspect is now on foot.
I'd say that that it takes a lot to be able to realize that people do deserve more, without any outside influence. But that's, I guess, the reason why sometimes the world net neutrality and is actually such a big thing. It has a lot to do with I just ran a guy over, and I think it has a lot to do with
Jesus! Dispatch, we got eyes on the perp. We're in pursuit. You fucking asshole!
son of a bitch. All right, but yeah, it has a lot to do with the way people view our entire society, as we try to get used to knowing each other, or try to get used to seeing each other a lot more. I'd say that our older generations kind of thought they had a good plan going, and in the same sense, sometimes they still do, is realizing that you need to be steadfast in your opinions before you present them out to the world. But also too, in the same sense, where do those opinions come from? You know, do they just come from internally, or do they just come from? I know I'm not actually just realizing this, but in the same sense, I'm just asking myself this question, I guess. But do they come from internally, or do they come from experience after experience of changing their opinions and looking the other way, or looking at other things, trying to find whether or not you're I'm gonna see if I can bring this generator inside the military base. But first we are going to rob the haircut shop.
Dispatch to all available units. We have a 211 silent on an armored truck. Respond code 3.
Is there another one? Alright. And also, in the same sense, I guess what people would do is, I mean, I've seen certain things go to oblivion, I guess. So not oblivion, but into a certain number of people's hands who take advantage of certain people. Or take advantage of anyone, actually. Because people who take advantage of certain people will marginalize anyone to get what they want. Because yes, that is, it's not basically, what are you as far as a person? Are you someone who is like are you a white nationalist, or are you anything as far as things go? Because I can say that there are so many ways to marginalize certain people, I guess, and in the way that people don't see things happening, I guess, is the fact is that the way that we allow certain things to happen in our society is the more we allow certain groups to somehow take control of our youth in some way.
Units reporting a reckless driver on
the ways that a woman or a man or an older woman or an older man would see a society is kind of like the same way a younger person might see the society and I don't want to mention other groups, because I mean I don't want to mention any other things because or even anything, like, I mean, and also in the ways that sometimes I'd say that old time Native American religion, or even not just Native American religion, because there are so many different kinds of people who believe in certain things, or believe that just things are good or anything like that. And also I am pagan, so and I am Native American. I don't believe in any particular thing like a creator or anything. I believe that we were made by accident, but accidentally on purpose, because of the ways that we interact with each other constantly. Son of a bitch! Not able to switch and go. Oh man, doesn't really do it like real life. It doesn't really do it like real life. Granted, I did target practice with shotguns, but that's about it. So, it doesn't do it like what's the word? And granted, that was on my my stepdad's plantation. Well, not my stepdad's plantation, but my stepdad had his own stock, just like the slaves that were the descendants of the slaves that actually lived there. And I myself am of Native American descent, while my stepdad is of mostly Anglo-Saxon and but also too, I still consider him family. Just like my dad, who is very much sometimes I don't know. I guess my dad never really, like, I don't know. I can tell sometimes that people try to I can tell sometimes that people try to push an agenda sometimes. I see that my dad tries to push the agenda that he's a good guy, and I notice that he's a good guy most of the time. But a good guy as far as a father figure or a role model or anything like that. But in the same sense, I've also seen him and his friends at their worst in some ways. Not all of them at their worst. Not all of his friends, but.
Come back when there's no cops on your tail.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
fool.
Got him.
Having fun.
Alright. Yeah, this is not anything like America. But also too, in the same sense, I think that it sees that I'd say that per capita, what people would say is as far as guns owned, people don't understand how many people actually do own guns in America. Or they think that that everyone owns a gun, but understandably so, it's only the right to bear, or the option to be able to get a gun. That's basically the right that, I guess, people push for. And in the same sense, I guess, people need to understand that there are also ways to be able to I'd say, circumvent those laws, I guess, and be able to, like in some ways, some states have made it a little bit harder for people to get guns, but through certain waiting periods, and if they, I'd say, relapse into a mental hospital, then obviously they're not going to get that gun. Or if they're found out to be some sort of terroristic group or a part of some sort of terroristic group, then they don't get that gun as well. But in the same sense too, I guess what people are doing, I guess, is like, I guess they're, let's see, there's so many news stories that actually that I'm trying to like encompass, and it's really hard for me to be able to tell people how complicated and frustrating it is whenever people are, I guess, marginalized to a certain group, and I guess I didn't see anyone. It's really the point is I don't see anyone get hurt or die in Brazilian news as much as I see people get hurt and or almost die in, I'd say, Middle Eastern or even sometimes Americans sometimes, because whenever the Boston bombing happened, they showed the explosion. At least I saw it on live leaks and different places, and they showed it. So, I mean, I guess also too, people say that they have to get used to a certain amount of death, or a certain amount of casualties, or a certain amount of things because of the way that people and things have treated, I guess, in a way that marginalizes the future generations in the same sense, as because the kids don't know why they're being shown that sometimes. And I guess what happens sometimes is as people start to learn that, I guess I wasn't as sheltered, I guess. But I mean, I'd say my mom wasn't very sheltered. My mom didn't really shelter us. She just kind of tried to protect us, I guess. And there were also some instances where I didn't believe that she needed to. But also in the same sense, I probably wasn't the best person to advise at that certain point in time. I wasn't exactly trained in the efforts of security, I guess. And my mom was I'd say she grew up in a harsher environment than I did. Whether or not those environments had anything to do with the way that people actually do anything today, or whether or not those people are in other parts of the country or other parts of the world, because of things that they did in New Orleans, because of the things that people actually did and actually said in certain ways. And also, people think, I guess, I don't know what it is sometimes. I guess people think that people have waves of corruption and waves of non-corruption, or at least that's what I think that they believe sometimes. And I don't understand when people try to say that, oh, it's just a fad, it's not gonna happen like that, it's just a thing like that. I mean, granted, I've heard it before. It was like, oh, that's just a thing that the government's trying to do now, or whatever. It's like, it's not really gonna work out, but they're gonna try. And it's like, do you have that little faith in what people actually do around you, I guess? And in that sense, I think that probably deserves more delving into sometimes. And also too, I mean, I'm actually in a sense on one side of an argument, and in the same sense I'm talking about a certain person who's on the other side of an argument. But in the same sense, that person might have the reason to be on the other side of the argument, seeing as how they might have been persecuted by a government or persecuted by a certain part of the government, I guess, a certain part of the government. But also too, sometimes people don't understand is those places change, and they try to change people in order to be able to adhere to the rules that they want them to. Sometimes, I guess that people don't understand that. And also too, it's like my mom leaving my dad. it's like I don't know. My mom has been persecuted in some ways, I guess, and she doesn't like to talk about it. She doesn't like to say anything about it, but she's had a rough life, and so has my dad.
Back up. You're killing my heart.
At least in the beginning.
Chill out.
I don't
Would you open your fucking eyes?
I don't try to say that that people are a certain way just because of the not just because of the life that they've had. But I guess they're a certain way because of the things they've gone through and the way that they've reacted to them, I guess. I guess in some ways you can villainize government and say that it's like, oh, it hasn't worked. It has a lot of people in a lot of ways it has to do with the way that people are implementing government and not the ways that government actually is. But so the enforcement sometimes needs to know, I guess, not just the police officers, but literally city officials need to know that there are other things than just fixing our sewers or fixing our streets, and they need to know that that's not the thing you need to roll with sometimes. I guess that's important, and that's extremely important to the value of your car, I guess. But in the same sense, you have to realize that if people aren't comfortable, even in their car, it can be used as a weapon. It's like even if you're not comfortable in your own skin sometimes in a place, then people could people can become, I guess, targets sometimes for your, I guess, stupid enjoyment or dumb things, I guess. And I guess what people have actually tried to come up with, I guess, as far as what news has or hasn't said, I think what they need to understand is that you need to get your news from very many different sources in order to actually get the entire full picture. You need to get your news from varied resources and varied places, so you can be able to see exactly what's going on throughout your entire world, and your worldview is going to change every day if you actually have that way, or if you actually do it that way. And that's, I think, the way that your worldview should change. It's like this is what's happening now and here, and realize that those places, I guess, that those like Fox and Friends and a whole bunch of different CNN or people like that, people don't understand is not everyone gets their news from there. You know, not everyone always gets their news from there. They go there, they try to say things, but they have deals and have places that they go to in order to be able to do things on different channels. And I guess what CNN does is it owns a bunch of different smaller networks because of the fact that, oh my God, they're getting so much funding, but realize that they do so much other stuff. Realize that that's not the only thing that CNN does. It's like they diversify as far as their own activities go. And I think that what people understand or really need to start understanding is that if you don't get your news from more than one place, then you'll never see actually the entire sides of the argument. And that, and in the same sense of what I was trying to say before, is there's so many different news stories to say, and there's so many different news stories to actually see, and I'm only, I'd say, one opinion. And that's, I guess what I'm trying to create is a discussion on being, I guess a discussion on being better than just one news story. You know? And a discussion that's better than just one person saying that, one person saying that there is I don't know, I don't get it, you know, and I don't understand, and I'm not here to mold a generation. I'm here to change what people think about themselves and about the way that, and I don't believe that I'm like that put up in myself to be able to see that but I don't think that I'm put up in myself to be able to believe in something, and they might change my opinion, my opinion, or my position on something. Realizations through discussions have happened all the time, and I say that people do it on a grand scale, but people don't do it on a minor scale, and that's what I guess really gets to me sometimes. Is people have their opinions, and they make up their opinions based on what they see on TV. And what they see on stuff, they don't just come up with their own opinions sometimes. And I think that, I guess, what people don't understand is they wouldn't get as mad about seeing stuff fall through on TV. They wouldn't get mad about another fire happening. They'd just be like, that's news, and I'm glad that I saw it. And I'm glad that those people are safe, if they are safe. But, I guess realizing that, and also too, yes, expertise. My rules are way different in America than they are in different other stuff. I can't. If I'm 30 years old and I'm talking to a 10-year-old on my live stream, it's actually questioned whether or not I'm a viable source of information, or I'm a viable source of even playing video games or live streaming, because of the simple fact that sometimes what people can do is not just villainize. Oh my God! How do I get out? And I'm done. But I'm not actually done. I'm just gonna go get some more water, and also bring. Oh wait, yes. Today's episode is actually brought to you by my landlord's turkey gumbo. It's freaking delicious. It's fucking delicious. It's really good. She made it to it. The turkey. It's got the tenderness of, it's really delicious. I think it's best sauce in a while. $5. But yeah, making sure that you're getting the entire story, or making sure that you're getting the entire aspect of what you're seeing. And also, I don't know if they're making a joke anymore. Louis C.K. is actually, I guess, just making a joke for Weinstein, but I mean, it looked like a joke. It looked like a joke because he constantly says jokes, and in some ways, it probably wasn't. Probably wasn't a joke at all. I don't know. It just it made me see through
requiring assistance on Lot 4 Accessory Way.
I guess it made me see through a bunch of stuff as far as Hollywood, the Hollywood thing, you know. It's like I don't know, you know, I don't get it, you know. It's like, oh man, there's so many people that are out there with their own agendas and stuff like that that aren't in Hollywood. That I don't think that like anyone could actually even say that they're a part of their own agenda. I guess they're just a part of someone else's. It's just really hard to get you. I'd say the best news out there, I guess, for the
Good Lord above.
oh dang it.
I'm making a personal injury
But
claim.
but also too realizing that I guess I mean, because I don't want to believe sometimes the hype or the people sometimes who get up with signs, because in some ways that stuff can be faked, and in some ways that stuff can be, in most ways sometimes that stuff can be completely and utterly fabricated. It sits I guess really it sits with me sometimes when people actually do stuff. When people actually like say stuff, and it, I don't know, it just doesn't seem real to me sometimes. It really doesn't. Like and also in the same sense, I'm not really like I guess trying to say that it's like to me what everything seems like, I guess what everything seems like is a complete and utter investigation. Like even YouTube sometimes. It doesn't seem like everyone makes it or everyone does stuff, and it's not just because of my experience. It's because of the stuff that I've seen that is actually really good and really, really well made. It just got 0 views or 27,000 views instead of 1 million. And I've seen through other things, I guess, that like I've seen that's like really good stuff that's actually well made and well preserved and well done. I've seen it get like 12,000 views, and that's it. And also like life-changing stuff, like oh my god, there's like 1 million views on this, but it's like there should be 1 billion at least. You know how many people there are in the world? It's like I don't get it, man. There should be more of a way to be able to reach different people, to be able to let them know. But also too, in the same sense, I'm afraid to reach out to other people. Because what if they hurt me? You know? I'm afraid to reach out to other people. Because what if everyone is if actually do in this world, we also actually do something important or positive in this world, then or on this world, not in this world. We're in its gravitational force, which is technically on top of. So it's stupid. But I guess that I mean.
You don't just to me and say.
There's the goddamn door. But I guess when you understand that I mean, I guess when you understand that there are certain there are certain details of anyone's kind of I'd say consciousness that don't want to be revealed. I mean, in the same sense, I mean, what you should realize is that there are so many ways to be able to mess something up so good and so well done. I guess what people need to understand and really realize is that we were being attacked every single day in the Cold War. We were being attacked as far as media goes, as far as everything goes, as far as, I mean, and so is, I'd say it was in the same sense, Russia and Soviet Union. And in the same sense, those things were probably not just because of what people think is like, oh, they were trying to control the media. It's like, no. Usually when people control the media, they have like huge ulterior motives. Like they want something to come into fruition, like a certain business or a certain thing. To gain a little bit of foresight, a little bit of power. Or in the same sense, they want God dang it, man. I really wish you could take the guns off the rack, and that would be like your cheat mode for that. It's really, really cool. I mean, obviously that would actually make it more like real life if you did that, but also too in the same sense, if you only got like a certain amount of bullets, or if you got all your ammo back up, whatever guns you have, you know, I mean, that wouldn't be bad as far as the video game world is concerned. But yeah, or maybe like more in like more interactable scenery, I guess. I know there's no way of going into certain shops, and it's weird because they don't want you to do everything, because they want you to make like, it's really stupid, because it's like they say it's a sandbox game and you can do anything you want in it. But understandably so, if you could do anything you wanted in it, then every environment would be actually a certain way. And I think that if they introduce downloadable content and stuff like that, or like a certain downloadable content, that would be like as far as the first person mode or the single player mode, I think they'd actually get more people onto the video game. But what is it, getting me onto the video game, I guess. And I probably represent at least a quarter of the audience. You know.
I sell lots of stuff, but not soap, I'm afraid.
Okay. Hit me.
So what?
You son of a bitch.
I won't call the police on you? Oh, shit.
Or maybe if they made what is it, whatchamacallit, what's the word, maybe if they made it like Germany, man, where they had robots and stuff like that, and you kill the robots. You know, there's that, you know? Like, it's like, and games aren't art, or whatever. It's like, then why is there, are there texture packages for, plants and leaves and... If you mimic anything, okay, art is supposed to be something that mimics life, okay? And in the same sense, mimicking life, I guess what people actually would say was mimicking life is art. So, in that sense, I guess, I don't know, you gotta understand. It's like, I don't say I don't know because I don't know. It's just, I say I don't know because I'm afraid that it will never come to fruition, even no matter what I say. So why say anything at all? I know it's not so I'll be looked at as a certain way, or in any way becoming fake. It's just, It's just because of a realization that why waste the breath on something that no matter what I say is never going to happen. You know, it's annoying sometimes. And whenever you get your news from certain areas or get your news from certain places, realize that you're not getting the entire story, and that you should get it from a lot of different sources in order to actually be able to look at stuff. Realize that you should, and I'm saying this because of the fact that sometimes people actually don't believe that they make an imprint on our society or even an effect on our society at all. But in the same sense, but in a reality sense, in a big reality way, we do. We make a huge imprint on our society sometimes, and we are all celebrities. Sometimes it's just a matter of what and who will be coming our way soon, you know, or what or who is coming our way soon, or will be coming our way because of the things that we have available to us, or the ways that the people that want to be able to promote us sometimes, or you know, yes, that was beautiful. It was a mid-air dance. That was beautiful. It was terrible, but it was also mid-air, like. It's terrible. I have a really, really dark sense of humor sometimes, and it gets me in trouble to like so many different degrees. Sometimes I don't know. I have a really dark sense of humor, and I don't know. It's actually keep me sane in most situations, sometimes, but also in the same sense, it's actually stopped me from having so many different amazing experiences that I could actually be around. I don't want to put people through stuff because if I'm not gonna like not if I'm not gonna get anything out of it, but not if I'm gonna cause that person a little bit more harm.
You're getting robbed.
I guess what people need to understand and realize is that I mean, you're not the main character, you know. You've seen movies before, and you've seen the way that things can be when you look into someone else's, or have such a window through someone else's life. No, that is an individual. The mostly of individual experience is individual experiences. It's sense sometimes. Like, oh, girls just want to have fun. It's like, no. Girls want to have fun, but also at the same time be respected and be held accountable. And just because they're acting stupid or saying something stupid or being opinionated in some way, shape, or form, that or I said those aren't related. But, opinionated or being stupid or men in the same sense. Why are we gonna? Let's see. It doesn't just because of equal rights, right? The same social status should be. People confuse those two sometimes. It's like equal rights does not mean the same social status. Equal rights means this is what happened. It's like it sucks. It really does suck. But people think that equal rights sometimes confuse it for this social status, and that's people need to understand. That have worked extremely hard to get where they are. Unfortunately, it may not seem like there's hard work, and yes, I could run that car into a freaking 18-wheeler. It was the funniest thing that I ever thought of just now. But people have worked very hard in areas to be able to get to where they are, and sometimes they don't want the people stealing their competition or stealing their potential audience or potential business. Because they understand and realize that there are different things to different things. And they want to keep that market sometimes closed off to just them. Even though, oh, here we go, I pissed somebody off. We're gonna barter. Are we gonna barter? Are we gonna barter? Are we gonna barter? Yeah, we are. Oh, you son of a bitch. Didn't have any money on him. Oh well. Yeah, understanding that that there are people out there that work very hard to get to where they are. And I'm not talking about like really people or anything. Be good on work. And I'm not just saying that certain
You didn't see my car?
you don't have to address and I people need to understand. Says, oh my God, I won't accept you then. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? Accept me. I don't care if you accept me. You're an American. This country accepts me. Am I able to walk on the ground? Do I somehow float up into the air where everything ceases to be? It doesn't work. It's like, does the world somehow what's the word? Does the world somehow cease to be for me? No. Even if I die, I still experience the same ion. On America, even when I die. So, in the same sense, people who are about that stupidness, or about that foolishness, you're an American, and you're not an immigrant. You were raised by immigrants. People who are from a different area. And it's granted whether or not you had a hard life for it. Some people had a hard life who just got really pissed about nothing. And given any one of those options, realize that you are parents were super hard because you people were and too big. So understand that this break what's the so everyone deserves some sort of an adventure, you tractor, or run away from the cat. Get the tractor, run away from the cat. Shit. I didn't realize that was a military vehicle right behind me, and there was dudes pointing guns at me. Realizing also that that every day is a new day, and whenever you're actually out there doing stuff like fighting bad people or helping someone or fighting fires or actually just putting in a fire detector or even a smoke detector or any kind of thing like that, realize that, I mean, there are different types of news that people take in. Of different perspectives. Do you really think that you're the most, I guess? Sometimes, do you really think that anyone else is the most? Because I don't even have any viewers, and I'm still talking about this stuff. But in the same sense, I don't realize that it's just like it's just an opinion, you know. Do you really think that you're the only opinion out there that matters, or you're the majority opinion, I guess? Because I'm gonna turn that off. And do you really think that you're the majority opinion? Do you really think that anything about you like matters to someone who has a completely different uniform view about something? Trying to understand where people actually fit in as far as the spectrum of anything, realize that social status does not end up on a spectrum. It ends up whether or not people start respecting you, or whether or not people start literally just denying your existence. People don't want to say sometimes that people actually existed in life, or the way that people were, or the way how people were, or the fact that Christianity and in some ways what people would call a Native American religion, are not really a Native American religion because it doesn't represent all of Native Americans. Realize that everyone is under an umbrella if they're not seen as son of a bitch. Realize that everyone is under umbrella if they're not noticed. They're under an umbrella of ignorance, of not being ignorant, but seen, not being ignorant or seen as ignorant, but of ignorance. Like, we don't know about you if you don't know about yourself, or if you don't tell someone about yourself, how would they ever know? I'm trying to make a discussion, and I really want to be able to hear other people's opinions about this, no matter what they are. And also too, if they are extreme, realize that I won't block you. But just because the only reason why I blocked one other kid it wasn't because I didn't block him from being my friend or anything like that, but he was a 10-year-old. I really realized that 10-year-old because of his Facebook status didn't have anything but little rants on it. He did not seem like a complete person to me. Therefore, I was first. As a robot, I found out he was a 10-year-old, and I didn't want him on the page anymore. Because when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed in discussions. For the simple fact that I wouldn't take things seriously. Kids don't take things seriously. I'm taking this argument seriously. This big argument or this big debate that I really want to happen. I'm taking it seriously, and I'm trying to make sure that I can get through to myself and through to everyone else as being able to defuse situations before they happen. Because obviously people have either realized that just counterterrorism is good for it, but sometimes the discussion is too. So even if you're an extremist about something that, and I'm not saying about anything like that, I do not condone the actions of either Black Panthers or any white nationalists or any groups that believes that their message is worth more than anyone else's opinion. Because realize that their message is their opinion as well. I do not hold any group or any racial group or any creed above anyone else. That doesn't mean that I am a god nor an administrator on this page. That means that I am trying to make a serious discussion that doesn't just involve me robbing a bunch of ammunitions in this video game. So, no matter what that discussion is about, or no matter what that discussion is, realize that along a certain path of awakening and I guess son of a bitch. Let me get some of this water. Oh, that's delicious. But realizing that that the more you're able to understand concepts and being able to understand certain concepts of how things are able to come about, the more you're able to be into adult conversations and to be in adult conversations. And understandably so, it did do something to me, and it made me realize how precious and how innocent sometimes kids can be, and and if you want them to keep that innocence and preciousness, sometimes you have to make sure that they're not able to broadcast their opinions on something so heinous as me taking all of this, my anger out, and also all of my discussions or opinions and putting them into either fighting games and what's the word? Fighting games and robbing games.
You only have yourself to blame.
And yes, I'm doing the same thing over and over again. Prove that there is such thing as me getting this motorcycle and running away with it.
Miss me!
Oh, that was awesome. I landed it, but I didn't really land it. But yeah, understanding that that your worldview changes every single day. If you pay attention to the world every single day, what things will change and how things will change constantly. Sometimes people will make a I'd say a good impression about your worldview and how things go sometimes, and how things constantly change all the time, and the way people constantly try to adhere to certain orders, and some people try to break those orders, and some people try to do stupid shit. And that's my fear sometimes, is that through that somehow someone will try to get a hold of me or my family and try to hurt them. And I don't have any messages towards those people. I just say no. And I also want those people to know that if they barely have a leg to stand on, then why are they trying to run? If they barely have a leg to stand on, then why are they trying to run at someone full force? Because they'll just wind up in the dirt. And it's 1:13, and I'm gonna go blow some shit up. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. It's freaking awesome. I'm gonna do this shit. Son of a bitch! Are you serious? I just went right by it. Like a little freaking... Alright. Alright, we're gonna do this then. We're gonna do this. We're gonna run into it. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be cool. And I'm gonna come back, and if anyone was ever listening, at any point when I wasn't paying attention to the... Son of a bitch. Alright. When I wasn't paying attention to the counter, to see if there was actually a person, or maybe a person's watching incognito. Let's see here. Yes. I wanted to make it explode, but it didn't, and that's okay. Come here, Bo. Alright, Bo, come here. Okay, I thought that was your dad. Alright, cool. Alright. So, thank you for listening, and this has been Joe Bomb Squad. And this is Game Therapy Rants. And, you are your own one-man bomb squad. Thank you so much for listening, if you ever do. And if you have already listened at any of my other discussions, or any of my other topics, realize that, your viewage and your opinions are much appreciated. Even the ones that say that characters are sexy. And it's funny, and it might give me views, but it'll get me paid attention to, so actually I can actually start a discussion. So thank you so much, and I shall leave you with this proverb. So saith something, and I'm paraphrasing, but don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the lakes and the rivers that you're used to. I know that you're going to have it your way, or nothing at all. But I just think you're moving too fast. Have a good day.